second.
You're starting from scratch?
We're starting right now, yeah, right from scratch. So, okay, Tim, we're talking about Brexit. Just to summarize here before we start, Brexit is the move in the vote in Britain to leave the European Union. Just reading some of the headlines that are up right now. Labour admits deep divisions have evident across the country. Massive 20% leave in Sunderland, so that's a big lead. Big lead in Sunderland, which is a part of South Scotland. Nigel Farage admitted he believed Remain would edge the contest moments after polls closed, but it looks like it may be the Leave group is going to hit by a few percent. The pound soared to a year high after the polls shut, but then nosedived, and gold is taking off like a rocket. So, although the Brexit supporting MPs had delivered a letter to David Cameron urging him to stay whatever the outcome, if Brexit happens, Cameron's finished. So, what would you...
I wouldn't say that's 100% certain because a lot of them did sign that letter. I just saw the letter a few minutes ago. Howsoever, I would say the knives are being sharpened, and I think his time is now very
Well, they also have, there's a lot of push by the media. I have a report here by Boris Johnson hijacks his own daughter's graduation by unveiling a Brexit banner, but one defiant student marched up to collect her degree with a Remain poster. So there, this is happening right inside the government there. And then, of course, we've got the latest Drudge report here.
If Brexit wins, Boris Johnson will be the great winner.
Right. Well, let me pull up the BBC News here for a second because there's apparently a live thing that's going on right now. Close race news referendum, and it talks about watch results on BBC TV. I'm going to put that on right now, that clip, because it should give us an update of what's going on there.
Well, right now,
wait a second. I'm turning up the sound, Tim.
Okay.
Because if Remain does squeak in, and the figures may change with London, there will be a lot of deep heart searching going to take place. I mean, I suspect that if Remain does win with the majority of 1 or 2%, it could conceivably happen. I mean, the authority of the government is going to nonetheless be considerably weaker than it was before the referendum. I think we're in a period of relatively...
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's actually saying anything substantial.
I want to ask you to reflect for a moment on the nature of the referendum. I guess in an ideal Cameron world, this was never meant to happen. The Lib Dems were expected to be in government with him, and you would have presumably stopped this referendum ever going ahead. Was it a mistake to call it?
Well, we certainly argued it was, and I think for the reason which Alex Salmon made a few moments ago, I think his analysis was exactly spot on. I mean, clearly there are circumstances in which you do need a referendum when you have a major constitutional change. We've always accepted that, but this one.
It doesn't look like they're saying too much there in that BBC report. See if there's something elsewhere.
On a different site, BBC is reporting the Leave vote is now 1,357,827 to 1,220,020.
So the Leave is significantly ahead.
The lead is well over 100,000 votes to the lead for the Leave, the UK side.
Right, so in other words, the Brexit's going to happen. Now,
well, we'll see. Don't count out the fact that the Khazarian Mafia, the global banking cartel, look, they arranged for the murder to make her a martyr of Joe Cox, who was on the Remain side. And it was, quite frankly, if that hadn't happened, you probably would see an extra 10%.
Right, yeah, but let me give you the quotes of the actual numbers right now live. EU referendum 1,292,762 for remaining. Okay, that's the sort of the Leave, I mean, and to Remain 1,144,509. When I look and it says 345 results to declare, I don't think it's going to take more than an hour or so, and we're going to have a finalization on it. And it looks wide enough. I don't think they're going to bridge it. I think that you're going to see now. Here's my analysis of which you can differ on your analysis. But the first thing I see, gold's going to spike. The pound sterling has already spiked at first when they thought they were going to stay. Now it's dropping. You're going to see other currencies around the world drop like a rock. You're going to see the run of the stock market and bond markets because they're integrated and linked together. And already bonds are tied directly to the price of oil, which is tied to the price of British pound sterling and the dollar. I see an economic chaos happening here in America. About 2 weeks ago, a part of the food stamp program actually shut off for young people who could physically work but couldn't find work. And they did that in California, so their food stamp cards don't work anymore.
That may have been a test, by the way.
Well, I think it may be a test, and see, what I expect to happen is this economic chaos could have a lot wider circumstances. They have a new video series show.
You may be right, and this may be Plan B.
They have a new video show called
Tim,
they have a new video show called Mr. Robot, and they put it out last year. The first one is on Amazon TV, which is a big corporation now, so they sponsor their own series. And this is a cult classic now. The first year, they actually, Mr. Robot, which is a hacktivist or hacker, they collapsed the world economy, hacking into the world financial system, and now it's post-apocalypse. Everything is completely screwed up in terms of power distribution, financial systems, everything. And what I see happening, the Leave thing, is going to have three consequences. The first is these nations in Europe are not going to be able, they're going to have to go cap in hand to people who, quote, do have money, even if it's fractional reserve money, to support their socialist economy. So it means you're going to see a further degradation of their sovereignty, and you're going to see the formation of Fortress Europe. The second consequence is that Turkey will probably get admitted as a European country, which means 40 million additional Turks or Turkic people from Turkic empires or countries nearby, Tajikistan, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, etc. And that means that that within the next couple of years, with 40 million plus Muslims coming into the country, Europe will become completely Islamified. The third consequence is as our international space-based weapon systems and satellites are integrated, which means you will have, with the rise of this new empire, the largest single superpower on Earth, which will become this new Muslim superpower with the Vatican and the Muslims pushing this together. And then, of course, there'll be a dark alliance. If Hillary Clinton doesn't get indicted by August, I'm predicting she will be president. I do not think Donald Trump can overcome it because the media and the bad Republicans that are wanting to support Hillary will overcome Donald Trump, and I don't think unless unless she's indicted. Unless she's indicted, I don't see.
I try to get predictions like that.
I'm telling you right now, from all of my analysis, and I'm putting money on it. On my analysis,
I'm a pretty good analyst too.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, I guarantee you that if they don't indict her by August, she will be president. And what you have to do is you got to look at the numbers. The numbers of the Tim.
The FBI agents get to vote too.
No, they don't. They don't mean anything. Okay, let me explain. If you look at the demographics of the way the voting is set up across this country, the number of people that are women, people of color, Hispanics, etc., all these different factions, and you look at the demographics across the country, she'll probably win by 3 to 4% over Trump. And if she is not indicted by August, mathematically the chances of her becoming president, if she's not indicted or charged in some way, is virtually a guarantee. So if she's not indicted, we are totally under the spirit of Jezebel.
I question that, but I'll tell you, I also
the math is there.
For the simple reason, Deagle. I think.
Well, yeah, you get Deagle can steal 2 to 5%, 7%, and if it's within that is 5 to 7%, which is very probable, that she's going to steal it with that and vote stuffing, etc. But I'm telling you right now, considering how evil she is and how connected she is and how much good she has and everybody, including Obama and Republicans, if she's not indicted by August, I'm putting a solid prophetic word that she will become president, and we're totally going to be screwed.
Time will tell.
Oh yeah, well, listen, she should be indicted about Libya and Benghazi.
Jitters in the UK are growing because the Brexit areas, the Leave areas, have recorded a massive turnout. It's breaking 20-plus year records for any kind of voting in the UK.
Right.
So it appears that the Brexit camp is more motivated than the Remain camp.
Of course they are, which means you're getting higher voter turnouts of the people who want to leave because they're energized by a massive invasion of Muslims. They're seeing the country stolen. London is no longer...
Bill, I have to go now.
Yeah. But yeah, I appreciate that, Tim. I'm going to continue for a few minutes, but I really appreciate your comments and so on analysis. So,
Okay.
if there's anything breaking, I want you to.
More in about an hour. God bless.
If there's more coming through, give me a show. You got my phone number, and we'll do another
Bye-bye.
report. Take care. Bye.
Okay.
So continuing, this is what I see happening. We have, of course, the Brexit report here. Results, and this is the latest results coming in from the EU referendum, and it shows again 1,438,695 to leave, and 1,292,093 to stay. It looks like Brexit's going to happen. And I expect the following. I expect Europe to become an Islamified superstate. I expect that you'll see at least a temporary collapse of the world economy and the pound sterling and the dollar, with a massive correction and economic chaos this year. They'll come out of it with Europe becoming a stronger superpower, but it'll be a combine between the Vatican and the Jesuits, trying to create a new form of Chrislam between Christianity, Roman Catholicism, and Islam. And you'll see now a new Islamic superstate arise out of Europe, out of the ashes of Europe. And of course, they're going to be beholden to the banks, the Fed Reserve banks, so they'll have even more power as they come out of bankruptcy. But they'll be basically under the control of the combination of the Vatican, the Sabbatean Jewish bankers, and the globalists that are in control of this whole process. So this is a controlled demolition of Europe to further take away sovereignty from the nation states. And I guarantee it will have the exact opposite effect that people are expecting. It'll take away further sovereignty from the nations as they try to scramble out of their economic chaos. And it will guarantee that Turkey will become a member of this new European superstate. So that's what I see in my analysis. And I'd like to see what other people come out with later. But we'll do updates the next few days as to what's going on. But Brexit's going to have immediate economic chaos consequences, and it'll have consequences geopolitically, because this is basically Brexit is going to be a Sunni European alliance that will then further embolden the practice to not collaborate with Russia and stop terrorism. So it will cause further divisions between Russia, China, and Europe. I don't see this as being a good thing.